At 3:17 a.m., a death was officially recorded in the National Civil Registry System. A man in his late 40s had been pronounced deceased following emergency hospital confirmation. The physician signed the certificate. The morgue received the body, and administrative closure began immediately. Insurance systems updated, hospital databases synchronized, and banks were notified through automated mortality feeds designed to restrict accounts of deceased clients. By 4:03 a.m., his accounts were flagged and restricted. On paper, the case was complete. At 14:06 that same day, a fraud alert triggered inside the bank. A login had been recorded using the deceased man's verified credentials. The system log confirmed successful authentication at 14 hours, 6 minutes, and 22 seconds from a registered mobile device on a familiar network, followed by completed SMS OTP verification. Minutes later, at 14:07, a transfer request was initiated. At 14:09, an ATM withdrawal attempt was logged in another district, and at 14:11 a.m. password reset was requested. The account belonged to a man declared dead hours earlier. The individual was a financial consultant with stable digital behavior, multiple banking integrations, and a tightly connected smartphone ecosystem. He lived alone after separation. His death occurred after a welfare check at 1:42 a.m., with forced entry by emergency services. He was found unresponsive, and paramedics confirmed no vital signs. He arrived at hospital at 2:18 a.m., and death was certified at 3:17 a.m. The record triggered automatic notifications across financial, telecom, and government systems. Everything aligned until the digital activity began. Cyber forensic review confirmed the login used a deceased man's trusted device profile, matching prior fingerprints with no sign of spoofing. OTP authentication was delivered to the SIM registered under his identity, which should have been deactivated at 5:12 a.m. following death registry synchronization. Yet telecom logs showed intermittent activity throughout the day. At 14:09, ATM surveillance captured a hooded figure attempting withdrawal using linked credentials. At 14:11, another reset request followed. The behavior confirmed sustained control over the identity. Investigators reconstructed the timeline. At 9:47 a.m., the phone reconnected to a known Wi-Fi network. At 11:12 a.m., cloud authentication refreshed. At 12:33 p.m., a recovery attempt failed. At 14:06, full access succeeded. Telecom analysis revealed a SIM swap request at 10:22 a.m. approved through standard identity verification, while the system still treated the subject as active. This created a critical overlap window between death reporting and telecom enforcement. Medical records confirmed death at 3:17 a.m. and secure storage at 3:40 a.m. morgue logs showed no breach, but administrative systems were in maintenance between 4:10 and 6 a.m., relying partly on manual verification. No biological survival was possible beyond hospital confirmation, eliminating natural explanation. Investigators then traced a mirror device identifier and secondary network handshake, indicating identity duplication at hardware level. The SIM reactivation during the overlap window allowed authentication continuity. When records were aligned, a pattern emerged. At 3:40 a.m., the body was secured. At 4:12 a.m., the identity appeared active outside the hospital zone. At 5:26 a.m., SIM reactivation completed, and by 9:47 a.m., the device was fully online. The breach was not advanced hacking, but exploitation of synchronization, delay across systems. A close associate linked to prior financial interactions was identified as the beneficiary of continued account access, using standard recovery protocols before full death propagation completed across institutions. Accounts were frozen, funds partially recovered, and telecom and banking systems revised death synchronization procedures. The case exposed a structural vulnerability. Digital identity does not end at death. It fades across disconnected systems at different speeds. During that gap, identity remains temporarily valid. That was the window of access, not through impossibility, but timing. In the final report, investigators concluded. The certificate said he was gone, but the system never stopped believing he was still here.